The muscles of facial expression. So in this we discuss the competency of the muscles of facial expression and their nerve supply. So these are complex muscles and have evolved over the centuries. Their main function is to act as sphincters for eye protection and for varied oral functions. Besides, they convey our emotions and expressions to the world around us. These muscles are derivatives of the second pharyngeal arch and are innervated by the facial nerve. Coming to classification of the muscles of the face can be classified into the muscles of upper face, the muscles of mid face, and the muscles of lower face and neck. Coming to muscles of the upper face, we have one muscle that is called as frontalis. Its contraction results in horizontal forehead wrinkles above the brow level. Then we have one muscle that is called as corrugator supercilii. The contraction of this muscle produces vertical lines known as frown lines in the glabellar region. And another muscle we have is the procerus. The contraction of this muscle produces horizontal lines over the dorsum of the nose. Then we go to an important muscle that is orbicularis oculi. This muscle encircles the eyelids or the palpebral fissures. It has got three parts. First we discuss the orbital part. Orbital part is the outer rim of the muscle and it surrounds the bony orbit. Then the other part is palpebral part. This muscle arises from the medial palpebral ligament and ends in the lateral palpebral raphe. This muscle just surrounds the eyelids, that is upper and lower eyelids. Then we have the third muscle that is called as, the third part that is called as lacrimal part, and it forms the innermost margin of the muscle, Then we go to actions of the orbicularis oculi parts. The orbital part acts as sphincter and closes the eyelids very tightly. Then palpebral part helps in blinking or light closure of the eyelids. Then we have lacrimal part that helps in widening the lacrimal sac and does help in drainage of tears. Then we go to muscles of the midface. In this we have nasalis, and this nasalis muscle helps to open the nasal aperture. Then levator glabii superioris aliquo nasi. It helps in deepening the nasolabial fold, dilates the nasal ala and invert the upper lip. Another muscle is levator glabii superioris. It helps to raise and invert upper lip and also deepens the nasolabial fold. And another muscle is zygomaticus minor. It helps elevation of the upper lip as in smiling. Then we have zygomaticus major, and it helps to draw the angle of the mouth upward and helps in laughing. And another muscle is levator anguli oris. It helps in smiling and contributes to nasolabial fold. And another important muscle that we are going to study is buccinator. This muscle forms the lateral boundary of oral cavity between the alveolar processes of maxilla and mandible. It has three parts. Upper part arises from maxillary alveolar process opposite molar tooth, and these fibers are continuous with the fibers of the opposite side. The middle part The middle part arises from pterygomandibular raphe. And fibers of pterygomandibular raphe which arise from it, the lower fibers enter upper lip and the upper fibers enter into lower lip. And at the crossing over the angle of the mouth, these fibers form a fibromuscular band that is called as modiolus. Lower part. The lower part arises from alveolar process of mandible opposite the molar tooth and are continuous with the fibers of opposite sides. This muscle assists in closing the vestibule of the oral cavity. And you can see the buccinator muscle origin. So you can see the upper fibers and lower fibers, and in the center you are able to see the oral opening. And coming to middle fibers, they arise from pterygomandibular raphe, and in this you can see that upper fibers enter into lower lip and lower fibers enter into upper lip. Then we have orbicularis oris. It has got two parts, that is pars peripherales. Pars peripherales attaches to the circular ring of the modiolus. It attaches as a circular sling at the modiolus. Then pars marginalis. This is deep to pars peripherales. Its contraction acts as primary oral sphincter. Then muscles of the lower face and neck. Depressor labii inferioris. This muscle helps to draw the lip downward and evert the lip. Depressor anguli oris. It causes the angle of lower lip to depress and open the mouth. Then mentalis. Mentalis helps to pull the chin and lip upwards. Then we have the platysma. It is a broad sheet of muscle. It is deep to skin. It arises from the superficial fascia over the upper chest and clavicle. It extends to the lower margin of the chin. It is attached to the lower lip, lateral lower lip and lower face. It keeps the skin taut over the neck. Then we go to describe the sensory innervation of the face. First, we have ophthalmic division, that is called as V1. The facial skin from chin to vertex is innervated by three branches of trigeminal nerve. Skin over the head, forehead, skin over the forehead, glabella and upper dorsum of the nose. It crosses the lateral wall of cavernous sinus. The ophthalmic division crosses the lateral wall of cavernous sinus, enters the orbit through superior orbital fissure. It divides into a lacrimal branch that goes to upper eyelid, lateral upper eyelid, and a nasociliar branch to the glabella and the nasal dorsum. And it has a larger branch, that is frontal branch, and the frontal branch divides into supraorbital and supratrochlear division and supply up to vertex. Then we have the maxillary division, that is V2. It supplies midface. It exits the skull via the foramen rotundum. It gives off zygomatico-temporal and zygomatico-facial branches to supply the area of zygoma and lateral canthal regions. The nerve then continues through inferior orbital fissure and supplies maxillary alveolus, the gingiva, the nasal floor and the palate. Then it exits the infraorbital foramina and supplies cheek, lower lid, lower eyelid, upper lip and lower nose. Then we have the mandibular division, that is V3. This exits the skull through foramen ovale to enter infratemporal region. It divides into several branches. The buccal branch innervates buccal mucosa and cheek skin laterally. The buccal branch innervates the buccal mucosa and cheek skin laterally. Then we have, it gives auriculotemporal branch that supply skin over the preauricular region and temporal scap. And we have inferior alveolar nerve that enters into inferior alveolar canal to supply the mandibular alveolar process. It exists, the mental foramina, as mental nerve to supply chin and lower lip. Thank you.